Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 7-inch scale Superman vs. Muhammad Ali comic book figure set from NECA Toys. Now this is based on an old comic book that was put out by DC Comics back in 1978, I believe. It was an oversized comic and it featured Muhammad Ali, the classic real-life boxer, against the DC comic fictional character Superman. So this set comes packaged in a box that's kind of made to look like the cover of that comic book. You've got the ring and the figures are posed in the same positions that the characters were drawn on the cover. And the figures are clearly displayed, and down below you've got the Superman versus Muhammad Ali title, which again looks very similar to what we saw in the comic book. On one side of the packaging, you have an image of Superman, and basically it says in the red corner, wearing the cape and blue tights from the planet Krypton, Kal-El, fighting as Superman. And then on the other side, it's got Muhammad Ali. It says in the blue corner, wearing the white trunks from Louisville, Kentucky, a true genius of the ring and champion of the people, Muhammad Ali. On the bottom, you've got the credits of the people involved with making the figures. And then on the back of the packaging, we've got some more artwork or images of the figures made to look kind of like comic book panels. And then again, you've got the Superman versus Muhammad Ali title. All right, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside the packaging, along with the other contents. Now, the only accessories that you get with this set are 2 extra pairs of hands for Superman. Both figures come with boxing glove fists that are attached when you take them out of the packaging, and then Superman has 2 extra pairs of non-boxing glove hands. You get a pair of open hands for flight poses for Superman, and then you get a pair of closed-fisted hands. Now I do want to point out on this one hand with the closed fist, you can see some blue has rubbed off there on the joint, probably just with my figure, so not a big deal, but just want to note that. Switching out the hands is easy. You just pull off the hand you want to replace. The glove's got the little peg inside there, and then you just plug in the hand you want to replace it with, and it should fit in there nice and tight. And Muhammad Ali does not come with any extra hands, and in fact, if you're wondering, you can't even switch out using the Superman hands because it's a different peg system. They would not work. The Superman hands, A, are a little bit different skin tone, and then B, they would not fit. So for the figures themselves, I think NECA has done a really nice job with the overall paint applications and sculpting detail on these figures. Now the thing to keep in mind about these figures is they're done in a very stylized way. They're made to look like they come right off the comic book pages. So, especially with like the face sculpts and stuff, Muhammad Ali is not really meant to look like the real life Muhammad Ali. He's meant to look like how he was drawn in that comic book. Now, I've never actually read the original comic book, so I don't really know what the premise of the story was, why they were boxing each other, or how Muhammad Ali could possibly beat Superman. I'm assuming maybe Superman wasn't using his powers, but I don't know. I've never read it. But from what I've seen from the cover and everything, I think they've done a good job of capturing the look from that comic book with these 2 figures. So starting with Muhammad Ali, again, I think they've done a nice job with the face sculpt, capturing the way he looked in the comic book. I like the black marks and everything, the dark black marks, and then you've got the lighter blue on his hair. The rest of his hair is just black. Again, nice sculpting detail. He's got just the white eyes, and you can see some white on his mouth. So again, you got to keep in mind this isn't meant to look like Muhammad Ali, the real life person. It's meant to look like Muhammad Ali, the comic book art. And in that regard, I think they've done a good job with it. Same with the body, with the black markings and everything. You got it on the sides and the back, the trunks. I like the detailing with the Everlast on his waist. I do have a little bit of white paint you can see on the black here. Not a major deal. You got a little bit of blue wash here on the front of his trunks. Again, more black markings down his leg. And then on his boots, I like the sculpting detail with the laces. And you got the black, and again, some blue wash like you see on the trunks. Again, a little bit of sloppiness with the paint here on the top of the boot, but not too bad. And just to note, the trunks on Muhammad Ali, like with the Superman figure, are done with that kind of vinyl material, so they're actually a separate piece from the figure. They're not just sculpted on there. So for the Superman figure, again, I think pretty nice sculpting detail. He's got the little curly piece of his hair that comes down over his forehead, and he's got the black markings that's made to look like pencil, which I think looks good. And he's got the blue wash in his hair. He's got the soft goods cape, and he's got the Superman symbol on the back of his cape. It comes down to about midsection of his legs. He's got some detailing on the back there. Now, like with the Christopher Reeve Superman figure that we saw NECA do, this some of this figure incorporates, like here on his torso, you can actually push in a little bit. So this is not just straight sculpting; it's actually a rubber flexible type material. So again, very similar to what we saw with the Christopher Reeve Superman figure. And again, I like the black markings, and he's got the Superman symbol on his chest. And I think here with the black marks on his trunks and his yellow belt, this definitely looks like something right off of a comic book page. So I like that. Again, nice detailing on the legs and the boots. Superman stands about 6 3/4 inches tall, and then Muhammad Ali, who is a little bit shorter, stands just under that. For the Superman figure, here's a comparison of NECA's Christopher Reeve version, and this basically incorporates the same body. The mold of the bodies between these two figures are the same. It's just the head sculpts that are different, and then you've got different paint applications, again, to give you that comic book deco on this new figure. And for Muhammad Ali, here's a comparison with a couple of NECA's 40th anniversary Rocky figures. So we've got Rocky Balboa and Clubber Lang. For articulation, starting with Muhammad Ali, you can turn the head to the left and to the right. He can look down about that much and really can't look back very much. You can pivot the head to the left and the right a bit. Arms attached with your standard ball hinge joint there at the shoulder, so you can get his arm out good. He's got good rotation there. Does not have a bicep swivel. Does have a swivel at the elbow. It's just a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. You've got rotation at the gloves, but no real up or down movement. A little bit. They're just attached with ball joints, but there's no hinges or anything. He does have a midsection joint down low here, so he's got rotation there at the midsection. Can kind of crunch down about that much and look back about that much, and you can pivot to the left and the right a tiny bit. The legs, really, there's not a lot of movement with the legs, unfortunately, so he can sting like a bee, but really can't float like a butterfly with this one. You do have a rotation, a thigh swivel up high there, but that's really about it. You really can't do the leg forward or back at all, and you can't really do the splits either. The knee is a single hinge knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. He does have rotation at the knee, and then you've got rotation at the feet, and you've got some up and down movement and a bit of pivot there. And then he does have toe articulation and 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So articulation for Superman, you can turn the head to the left and the right, and he can look down pretty good, and he can look up about that much, and you can pivot the head to the left and the right as well. Arms attached with a ball hinge joint, so he can get his arm out about that much. I don't want to do it anymore and force it. You can rotate the arm as well. He does not have a bicep swivel. He does have a swivel at the elbow, single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow about that much. And then with the glove hands, you've got just the swivel. You don't really have much in the way of up and down movement. Now with the hands, the regular hands he comes with, he does have hinge joints, so he's got more up and down movement with those. Does not really have any midsection articulation. Has a little bit of a waist swivel there, so you can swivel at the waist, but no. It feels like maybe there's an ab crunch joint in there. Again, this costume is kind of a vinyl material, so it's hard to tell, but it really doesn't have much in the way of crunch. Can crunch down there at the waist about that much, and then can kind of look back, though you do get this gap there between the waist and the belt when you have him looking back. The legs are attached with ball hinge joints, so he can do the splits pretty good, and he can get his leg forward pretty good. Like with Muhammad Ali, the shorts are a separate piece, and they're that vinyl material, but they don't cover up the joints, so you've got much more leg movement with Superman than you do with Muhammad Ali. Also has a swivel up high there with that joint. It's not a true thigh swivel, but you do have some rotation up high there. And then he's got a single hinge knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. He does have rotation at the knee, and then with the feet, you've got some up and down movement and some rotation and a little bit of pivot, but not too much with the way the actual legs are sculpted. You really don't get a lot of pivot there. And then 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I think this is a pretty cool set. Now you have to keep in mind this is a very stylized type set. The Muhammad Ali figure is not supposed to look like Muhammad Ali from real life. It's supposed to look like how he looked in the comic book. And I think they do a very good job with that. I think the paint applications for the most part are pretty solid. The figures are a little bit limited as far as articulation goes, especially with Muhammad Ali and his legs. But I think if you're a fan of Muhammad Ali, or you're a fan of that comic book that DC Comics put out where these two face off, this is one that you're definitely going to want to check out. Now, this set is available now. NECA had it available on their eBay store. I'm not sure if they still have any left in stock there, but places like Big Bad Toy Store should be getting it in stock soon. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I'll have links to those in the video description below. And until next time, I'll catch you later.